What is going on, everybody? Welcome, welcome, welcome into the virtual sanctuary of the St. James Show. I am your host. I am the apostle of this here Black church sector. I am him. I am St. James. Will you do me a great big favor? If you're not a subscriber of this channel, will you hit the subscribe button for me? Do that right now. And also, if you would be so kind to hit the like button, Make sure you turn on your notifications once you hit the subscribe button so you know each and every time the virtual sanctuary is open. Share right now on all your social media sites. Let everybody know we are live. Make sure you join our exclusive Patreon and our exclusive YouTube membership as well. Throughout the show, $ChurchSector. If you would like to contribute to this platform, and not only for $ChurchSector through CashApp, but down at the bottom, you can see all the ways to support this platform. Hope everybody is having a wonderful Thursday. It is our pre-Friday. Tomorrow is Friday. I'm sure it has been a long week, and it really has been kind of a long week for me. So we are glad we are here on tonight. And we are waiting on our guest, our special guest for the evening, which is none other than Archbishop E. Jordan. We're going to have a wonderful conversation on tonight. So tell everybody that we are over here in the virtual sanctuary of the St. James Show. What's up, Princess? Thank you for being a member. Thank you for your support. Keisha Green. What's up, Keisha? How was LA on tonight? BDG is up in the house. Prayer Era is here. Smiling with Aaron was through. Thank you so much, JD, for becoming an exclusive YouTube member. And you too, Lori Coleman, for becoming a member or renewing your membership. I appreciate you guys doing that even before we even came on. So I'm so glad that you chose to do that. Listen, we're going to have a great conversation on tonight, but what is everybody doing? What's going on around these social media streets? Gas is still high. It is climbing higher up the mountain. And we were on last night. If you didn't get a chance to hang out with us last night, make sure you click on the replay, either this evening or tomorrow or sometime this weekend. Make sure don't get behind now. Do not get behind. There's so much going on in the church sector. You just never know when we will pop on. We've been talking about the Jamal Bryant stuff and the boycott and the fast and the things like that. Everybody has had their opinions. Yes, they have. What's up, Chantel? Good to see you. Everybody has had their opinions. Everybody has given their 2 cent, 3 cent, and 4 cent. I even gave a little change on my opinion as well. But the fact of the matter is we are glad that some change has come. All right. Ain't that the song? A change is going to come. What else is going on? Let's see if who has had a birthday this month. Birthday and anniversary. We are nearing the end of the month. We're about the middle of the month now. I guess the middle. So our birthdays, for our March birthdays, let's go ahead and wish you a happy birthday, happy anniversary. Make sure you put your birthdays in the chat as Leah is singing to you. Because all right? She's blessed. So right here, I want to say happy birthday. Happy birthday. Happy birthday. Happy birthday. Come on, y'all, say happy birthday. Hey, Leah, I got another birthday over there. Say happy birthday. Of course, that is Leah Marie. Appreciate all the birthdays. Happy birthday, and happy birthday again. Listen, you can join myself and Leah if you're in the California area, especially the Central Valley area. Join us for the day before Mother's Day as we present Mother's Day weekend gospel brunch here in the city of Fresno, California. We are highlighting the music of the late Richard Smallwood himself. And if you want to get your tickets, they're at Eventbrite. All right. So there is the code, and make sure you click that code right there, and or you take a picture of it, or even on the screen right now. Um, Zoom in. Get your tickets for a wonderful live music presentation from me and some of my friends in music ministry, and also wonderful buffet brunch. So you don't want to miss the Mother's Day weekend gospel brunch. Make sure you bring your auntie, bring your mother, bring your grandmother. And of course, we ought to see all the men there because you want to be there celebrating on that weekend for Mother's Day. So we're going to have some great singing and great eating right before Mother's Day. And then the next day, you can do a little bit more. But I guarantee you, a lot of people are coming that are saying, hey, this is my gift to my mother. And we are going to hang out with you, St. James, and have a good time at this brunch. So get your tickets. They are on Eventbrite. Make sure you get them early before they all sell out. This would happen last time. We were just so over, we were just, over the account, and we tried to push people in there, but it is limited in that space. So you want to make sure that you get your tickets and get them early. All right. Yes. And of course, we are on our ways to Oslo, Norway, for the Music and Arts Global Music Conference that we're having in 2027. So next year, about April, end of April. So you want to make sure that you get your, if you're interested in traveling there with us, you can email me at TheSaintjamesShow@att.net. We're going to be gathering interest so we can figure out the pricing for this. We're going to first go to London, and then we're going to fly from London to Oslo, Norway, which is about a 2-hour flight from London. And then we'll be back. We're flying out of San Francisco. So if you can make it to San Francisco to fly out with us, we would love for you to join us. But you got to let me know that you are interested. All right. TheSaintjamesShow@att.net is the email. I don't need all your information right now. Just let me know that you are interested, and I'll put you down and then give you additional information. I should have more information by next week because I want people to know. If you are interested in going, then we will put you down, and we're going to have a really, really good time. What's up, everybody? Come on in and hit that like button. Please hit that like button. Don't just come on in here, but hit the like button, hit the subscribe button if you are not a subscriber of the St. James Show. I believe our guest is here, none other than Archbishop E. Jordan. So I am going to be bringing him up. So if you're ready out there in St. James Show land, make sure you're commenting in the chat. Moderators, if Bishop asks for something to be put in the chat, please put it in the chat. If he quotes wonderful scriptures that we need to remember, put it in the chat. That's why I need some more moderators to hit me up behind the scenes, maybe the TheSaintjamesShow@att.net. Let me know if you would like to be a moderator for this platform. But again, you have to do a little work for me. And it will benefit you. I got to do something for my moderators. But throughout the evening, good quotes, good scriptures, whatever. Please, even those of you watching, get out of the bushes and put them in the comment section. All right. Without any further ado, we are bringing on none other than Archbishop E. Bernard Jordan. Good evening, Master Prophet Jordan. How are you on tonight?
God bless you, my friend. I am doing well. I'm coming through loud and clear.
You are loud and clear. I appreciate it. Yes, yes. There is Naomi Jordan Cook. We know her, don't we?
Yes, yes, yes. Is she on watching right now?
Yeah, she's on right now. Yeah.
That is the firstborn.
Oh, wow.
She is the one that made me father.
Okay. All right.
She's my firstborn daughter, the firstborn, and lovely personality. She had to share us with the world. And I remember she was sharing one day when we were talking about preachers' children and a whole panel. And it's like, you hear the adult offspring.
Yes.
We stop saying children's offspring. We hear our adult offspring speak, and there was a panel, and she said something to me that was remarkable, that when she was a teenager, that another teenage young lady in the church was calling me dad, said, "That's my father." And she confronted him and she said, "That's not your father, that's my father." And then she says, the young lady said to her that, Naomi, your father is the only person that some of us will ever get to call a father.
Oh, wow. Wow.
And she says that did something in her heart at that age. And that's when I guess she came to reality. She had to share her father with the world.
Wow.
And, I was never a preacher's kid, so I've never heard another person call my father, father. As an adult, I heard people call my mother, mother, which is fine. But, that's kind of like a condition in the church when your mother gets a certain age,
Yeah, everybody is the mother of the church, or, they start calling, everybody calls about 60 and older. You call a mother in the church.
You call the mother in the church. Yeah. But as a young, and so it's interesting watching each of my offspring begin to say how they deal with or have dealt with and process. I think some are still processing the whole idea of father and what that world looks like. But I thank God for all of my offsprings, because they all have stayed in the faith. And we have a great relationship as a family. I must say that we have a great relationship as a family, because people were able to see us fall out publicly and then see us also reconcile publicly. And that is being human. It's just the whole aspect of being human. And I get so many people that oftentimes St. James say, the relationship that you and your son went through, Prophet Manasseh, they says, that has so helped me. And I says, what you mean? Says, you surprised how many preachers or different people come across, says, my son has stopped speaking to me.
Wow.
How did you handle it? How did you deal with it? I says, you got to be like the prodigals, like the story of the prodigal son. You got to keep looking from a distance while they're in the far country until they come to themselves. So,
how did you feel during that? Was that a rough? I know it's a rough period for you, but how could you minister? How could you go on? How could you just keep it going? And that divide was there.
Well, the divide is normal. To divide is normal. And what I mean by that, look at the loss that God had. A third of the angels split God's church.
Yeah. Wow.
Right? And how did God go on? Because we learn how to dance with the moment, right? And then oftentimes as a leader, we're leading while bleeding.
Yeah.
We're leading while bleeding. And the call to lead sometimes become greater than the offense. And so, you have to just know that in the fullness of time. And then when you look at the scripture, you also see that was tensions in many families.
Yeah.
had to go through their own process. Look at David and his son with Absalom. There's always going to be that tension that goes on, and the tension that happens to divide is normal. I think we've got to get used to that. And so I thank God that I was able to live that part out to some degree publicly, and it was painful on both sides. But when we came together, we compared notes, and I think now we make up for all the lost time because we end up talking 1, 2, 3 a.m. in the morning.
Right.
And you say sometime when we were all on the phone together, you, me, and Manasseh, you say, listen, I got to go, y'all. Our call goes on for another hour or two.
Listen here, Bishop and Manasseh will keep you on the phone till the rooster crow.
Exactly.
It's other times I have to be at work at 6 a.m. So, I got to bail out. I have to bail out. Yeah. Now, I was going to ask you, by saying that and coming back together, not that we're going beating dead horses, but I think it mixes into what we're going to talk about tonight. Do you find yourself walking a little, more circumspectly when it deals with your children and not wanting to create anything like that again? Not that it was your fault or anything, but do you find yourself, operating differently?
Well, yeah, I think I am more sensitive to my children being also human and making sure that they're elevated at the same time, respected and honored, acknowledged, amen, acknowledged, letting them know that I see them. Sometimes our family can be somewhat like, does Daddy know that I'm here? Does Daddy know that I'm, does he see me? So I seek to try to acknowledge them as often as I can, when I can, and so that they can feel seen and not feel invisible in the crowd. And I honor them because they are the one that made me father. I can't make myself father. So that's why, my daughter, my first daughter, the firstborn, I became father as a result of her. And if it wasn't for her, I wouldn't be father.
Right.
And the rest of the children, it's the children that makes you father. And so I just thank God for the process. Then I'm glad to see them having children and watching. Now I have grandchildren, and to watch how they're processing things in their life with their children as some of their children are adulting. So I have adult grandchildren right now.
Yeah.
And
I've seen them at work at Prophetology, and they're at work. They're working.
They're at work. They're working behind the scenes. They love the Lord in their own way. They love the Lord in ministry. And I thank God for them. And some of them, work around the ministry, in ministry, and are inquisitive about, just life and being, and yet still looking for their own identity so they don't get swallowed up into this whole thing that, you're Bishop Jordan's grandchild, and you gotta be a certain way. So, I love family. And when our family get together, it gets together as family, and we have things that we agree upon. We have things that we have differences about, and I love it. I love the way that they think that church should be ran. And I just keep looking at them and say, just keep living. Keep living.
You'll see it my way eventually.
But the culture is so different today.
It is.
St. James. The culture is so different today. So, I think the culture is so different today. There's things that I say, there's things I would never say about our leaders or clergy of our day in the 1970s, the 1980s, the 1990s. We were taught to respect our elders. and we honored our elders. And in some ways, we're now in a generation that have made fathers wrong, which is kind of interesting, right? I think the adoption, we made fathers wrong, and the adoption of now, be an uncle. And I've had a couple of young people sit there and say, "Hey, unc," and I says, "If I'm your unc, then who is my brother?"
Right.
Identify your father. And they just look at, some just look at me and says, that's the master prophet over there. But I enjoy it. I love the bantering. I love watching them think out loud. I love watching them process life, because I think everything in life is all about a process.
I can only imagine. I haven't had the pleasure of speaking with all of your children. Well, I've spoke to most of them, I believe, but I'm talking about like intimately, really having a conversation. And of course, I speak to Manasseh often, and then Bishop-elect has come on. And I can just imagine the knowledge and the wealth and just everything that have been imparted into them. I'm sure you are proud, and more proud.
Yes, I am, and they're living their lives, and they're living their lives out loud and being who they are. And I bless them.
Let's look at your youngest. He's over there on a cruise. He didn't want to be here with us, but he wanted to be at the Ritz.
That's the Ritz-Carlton cruise. He wanted to see if we almost ended up on that today, but
really,
he wanted us to come along with them, and we looked at all of what's going on here. I says, you know what, Prophet Manasseh, we're going to have to take you up on that at another time.
Yeah,
because he really had like a 2-day notice.
Yeah.
And I said, well, I got to be speaking here in Chicago, and then we're getting ready to come into the Holy Week, and all of these other great things that are happening. And then, we're just dealing with a lot of other different things. Life is just coming at us at 66. And at the same time, I says, but we're going to do that cruise with you, as we're going to be doing a number of other cruises. Talking about cruises, we're going to be doing a cruise at the end of June. Matter of fact, we're going with a 7-day cruise on one of the largest ships, and we're taking the company of prophets with us, and we're going to be doing on the cruise ship a prophetic intensive. There's going to be about 3 tracks. There's going to be a prophetic intensive. There's going to also be an AI intensive. And we're doing some things now with artificial intelligence that is amazing. But the world is shifting quickly. And what we are coming into, I'm telling people, if you are not in the world of AI, you are going to be in trouble, because the bots are here. The jobs are going to be eliminated, and it's going to be a new generation of thinkers and leaders.
One thing I have noticed, Archbishop, Master Prophet, since you have come out about AI, the importance of AI, all of a sudden I'm hearing a lot of preachers around the country teaching it now. I even was at the leadership conference. Well, not, what was that? Yeah, leadership conference at the Church of God in Christ. And they were having an AI class at one of their meetings. I said, listen here, Bishop Jordan was leading in the 80s and the 90s, and look at it. In 2026, you are getting the people ahead of things like they should be once again.
Well, I say with all humility, one of our taglines is that we're leading from the future.
From the future, yeah.
When we told the people to go home and watch us on streaming, people says Bishop Jordan destroyed his church. And I said, well, right now I'm just going to work on just the 12. And when there would be 15 people in the church, I says, there's 3 more people here than should be here. And we'd be sitting in the big sanctuary, it's only 12 people. We've sent the people home. And at that time, the Lord began to deal with us and says, Bishop Jordan, I told you to make, he said, I told you to make disciples, not make a congregation.
Right.
So at that point, we went into a discipleship type model. and started raising up leaders. And because of that, today we have a strong company of prophets, that people that can prophesy and see and, to give the word of the Lord. They won't give you the theatrics, right? Because we teach people that there's a difference between the supernatural and the spectacular.
Right.
So a lot of times what the church has chased was the spectacular, and then they turned around and missed the supernatural. The supernatural is like a word slips up and then comes to pass as a result of it. You say, oh my God, there was a prophet that said this. I say, yeah, you didn't see that coming, did you? No, as a matter of fact, we thought it was off. And then here you have it, that is on. And so we watch that when real prophecy comes forth, when the word of the Lord comes forth, there's no applause. Why? Because they're talking about a day we can't applaud for. We don't see it. It's beyond a word of knowledge. It's declaring something. Like when we prophesied and said that there would be an African-American president in 1996, nobody applauded.
Right.
And they didn't like the second part of that, because the second part of that word was do not rejoice, or the African-American community will suffer greatly as a result. And now we're looking at all of the unplugging of DEI, that we had this illusion of inclusion of this high. Now we're in a stage where the rug is being pulled out, and it's going to only get worse.
Wow.
And then in certain communities, people have gotten kind of emboldened. The level of our people have become more intelligent. We're more intelligent today than we've ever been in the United States of America. And yet that intimidates certain groups of people. And so therefore, there's been a lot of progress among our people, a lot of progress among our race of people. Now AI is coming in. We are not at the table the way we should be. We were doing some things at Virginia. We are doing some things at Virginia Union University, but we just recently did a seminar with pastors and leaders there at Virginia Union. And we're going to be doing some major stuff this year at the Jordan Institute. So we're now looking at AI. We're in AI every day. And what we tell people, what we tell our staff, you cannot be learning AI today. AI must become your operating system.
Right.
And if it's not your operating system, then you're going to be a dinosaur. You're obsolete. That means that you are on life support, because where technology is going, we just did a 2-day intensive, and everyone around the table either had to go somewhere and lay down, recalibrate their life as we begin to activate the box. And I want to say this, and that was one of the reasons I was wanting to meet with the bloggers at the time.
Yeah.
As I was talking with you all about AI and some things, that there's a new format coming to the stage. Let's prepare for the future. Let's lead the people from the future. I'm trying to say, how can I say this without offending people? But
just say it, Bishop.
But the way we've done life is not the way we can do life moving forward. And what that looks like is that because we're leading from the future will look nothing like the past. And so, like, before COVID, I would not put my credit card on my phone. I says, no, I'm not putting my credit card on my phone. They're not going to steal my money out the bank.
Right. Okay.
COVID came, and then everybody had credit cards on the phone.
Yeah. Oh, you didn't get anything.
Well, you couldn't eat, right?
Yeah.
So the culture changed, right? Now there are certain stores in New York you go into, they say, we don't take cash. There's a place that I go to eat at here. I went to pull out some cash. They said, I'm sorry. We said, we take no cash here. There's places now not taking care because they realize how much germs are on money, right? And yet we'll take that same money and carry germs from one person to the other,
right?
And don't realize how there'll be a generation that will live and says, I can't believe how filthy your people were in that day because y'all would
they
take
actually
germs.
touched those things that was touched by millions of people. Yeah,
and you don't know what kind of flesh or incurable disease the other person had on that dollar that was there.
Yeah.
And whatever it was, we didn't understand it, but now we're beginning to wake up. So a lot of the degrees that we've studied for in our community today are becoming obsolete.
Yeah.
Because there's certain knowledge that have expiration date. So we've got to upgrade our technology. We got to upgrade our prophetic technology. We tell the people in our prophetic community, says you got to upgrade your prophetic technology.
Right.
You got to upgrade your teaching method. You got to upgrade your sound. And what that looks like, you can't have Broadway performances in New York City and then expect people to come to your church and suffer through your music.
No, come on now.
Right.
I was talking about that last night. Excellence in ministry. Yeah.
So when the ear is trained to a certain frequency, then when it's not at that frequency and you go into other places, it starts to become just noise. And a lot of our churches have become noise because they refuse to upgrade to the frequency that the ear is trained to listen at.
And and it's funny you say that it's trained because a lot of people that don't know music, that don't know how to sing, may be tone deaf, but they know what they hear.
Yes.
And they want to hear that good music. Bishop, before we get into the discussion tonight, let's just play this because listen, they need to be connected.
In Genesis chapter 7, verse 16, it says, "The Lord shut Noah in." Noah did not shut that door himself. God sealed it. Once sealed, it could not be reopened by panic. It could not be moved by persuasion. Divine sovereignty closes what human curiosity would reopen. Had that door stayed open, vulnerability would have increased. The very thing Noah might have fought to keep open was the thing God needed to close to save his life. This is the reframe. Sealed doors are not grievances. They are guidance. They demand patience. They require prayer. They call for reflection, not reaction.
It went out quicker than I thought it would. I forgot it was that. So make sure everyone, if you would like to connect with Zoe Ministries, make sure you are abiding by that commercial and text the number there. And you need to stay connected to the power of prophecy. Bishop, we are here tonight. We're talking about friends, foes, and fault lines. To me, it's like relationships, it's like conflict, division. What comes to mind when we talk about friend, foes, and fault lines? Oh, you're on mute.
Can you hear me now?
Oh, we can hear you now. Go ahead.
Okay. What comes to mind is that you're going to have friends. Wise people start with friends first.
Yeah.
But you're going to also have foes. And they're going to show up. And then you're going to also have fault lines. So we could probably start looking at these friends, these foes, and fault lines. What comes to mind is betrayal. Betrayal.
That seems to be the main focus of all that. Yeah, betrayal.
Yeah, betrayal. And I think that's the one thing that I've had to wrestle with over this year is the whole idea and the concept of betrayal. And I think that's why I'm processing a lot of things, St. James, and thank you for allowing me to come on your show to talk about it.
Always, yes.
Definitely. Betrayal is something that I got present to, and that is that you don't get betrayed by someone from afar.
No.
Betrayal happens from people that have their feet under your table.
Wow.
Betrayal. We're coming into the Passion season, and the whole crucifixion, the whole revelation of Christ is that Judas was there to betray him.
Yes,
so betrayal requires proximity.
Yeah.
And I probably had one of the greatest betrayals that has ever hit my life over the last year, the greatest betrayal. And to the point of that you begin to wonder how, as a prophet, I didn't see this.
Yeah.
That's what I have to,
Because a lot of people have said that, Bishop. So I'm glad you brought that up. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I began to start looking and say, how as a prophet, I didn't see this coming. You're the prophet. You're supposed to see it coming. And one of the things I've always known is that your gift is for others. It's not for you.
Ooh.
Right. A gift is given to someone else. I don't buy a gift for myself. A gift is given to be given.
Yeah.
So the gift of prophecy is not for me to profit from in terms of having special insight and stuff. Of course, I hear the voice of the Lord, but the gift is given. But at the same time, I'm realizing that betrayal is necessary, because without the betrayal, Jesus couldn't have had the resurrection. So it's like coming out of something.
Yeah.
If I could also say here that betrayal not only requires proximity, but betrayal comes from a person that you trust, right? A person you trust with your secrets.
Yeah.
Right. So there were things that I have discussed about different individuals, about, situations in family, situations of breakdown.
Right.
To hear it actually discussed on other blog shows that I thought in our relationship, you would not put out something that I've shared with you in terms of a breakdown in a family.
Yeah.
Or a breakdown with a family member, right? Because I thought you were a friend. So that began to be a moment of disappointment.
Yeah.
Then recently, we hear word that, I was being recorded since March of last year, 2025, up until I disconnected from a particular individual that allowed someone to eavesdrop on a phone call, and that was recording calls for months. So at this point, of course, we're dealing with the legal thing.
Yeah. And
we have a law firm and a law team. As a matter of fact, I was just speaking with the team of lawyers on yesterday. And they're seriously carrying this forward. And they'll be making an approach to the judge soon, because there's people that are avoiding service, which I found out that the court really frowns on that.
Yeah.
When people are avoiding being served. And so that is moving forward. It is filed in federal court. I was on the phone the other day with a judge and some other people that are not a part of the case, but they are watching the case and watching the story.
Yeah.
And found it very interesting. But the thing is that I don't think our people realize how serious eavesdropping is.
Yeah.
And then the purpose, because the court's going to want to know Why are you eavesdropping?
Yeah,
Why?
what's the intent? What was the motive? Yeah.
What's the intent? Well, we see the intent, right? Because the intent was now demonstrated. And so now that opens it up. And I think that in the past, I probably would have looked at it and says, let this go. But I think at this point here in my life is that we've got to make sure this happens to no one else ever again in the future.
So that's what I was going to ask. Is this something that you are passionate about? Not only that it happened to you and it's affecting you, it's affecting your family, but are you looking to the future? Are you trying to set a precedent as to, how people should move when it comes to blogging, when it comes to social media, and when it comes to recording people?
Yeah, well, the one thing that I've learned is that I couldn't get no justice in the social media streets. And if it could be justice here, then it would have just stayed here in the community and we could have just moved on, right?
Yeah.
And, make an apology.
Right.
But we're in a reputation business.
Right.
Right. The bloggers are not in a reputation business.
Right.
Everything about us is our reputation, right? And on those phone calls, we've talked about people, we've talked about situations, we talked about life. I might have was on the call and said, yeah, that's St. James, I didn't like the show that he did the other day, but I love that St. James show. And what about you? But these are what you're kicking it with a friend.
Yeah. I have friends, a couple of friends, and I say a couple of friends like that, that you're close like that. You talk about things. You talk about life.
You talk about your wife, you talk about your children, you talk about, you talk about your mother, you talk about your father, just talking about life. And then to hear someone say, oh yeah, I've been recording for 8 months. So of course we had to get that to the attorney.
Yeah.
And as a result, we got in touch with the phone company and pulled down every phone call, how long each call was.
Wow.
What state they were in. It's interesting that in the telephone business, when you pull these records, they just do a whole forensic thing.
Right.
They know who called who, whether you called them or they called you. They also know, St. James, where the person was calling from.
Right.
So on one of the said recordings, I was in New Jersey. Justin was in Texas, right?
Mm-hmm.
I thought he was in Illinois. I didn't realize that he was not in Illinois. He was in Texas.
Mm-hmm.
And at the time. And so I had to go and, get in touch with the lawyer. And so I was, okay, we need to make an amendment here. This is what I've discovered after I've heard that there was that they were recording us for eight months.
And this is after you've seen the forensic,
right.
Call.
Said, okay. Yeah. And I didn't even know that this even existed.
Right.
But then when I looked through the 8 months, there were a lot of calls that were from Illinois. And there were a number of calls that were from Florida. And when Justin was at the conference, he was at our conference at the at our prophetic conference, but he was also at Prophet Manasseh's prophetic
Yeah.
conference, because that's where you met him at, because he spoke there.
Yeah, I met him at Manasseh. But I went to prophet-ecology. I guess I didn't meet him there. Was he there? Because I think I only met him at Tree of Life at Manasseh's.
Right.
I can't remember.
He was at both of them.
Oh, that's what I thought. But yeah.
But on both of those calls, he was right there in the hotel where we were at.
Yeah.
On at least two of those calls, we had talked on the phone for about a good 50 minutes. So again, I'm wondering, was there someone eavesdropping on that? So this is the stuff that's getting ready to be found out. And we're not going to find out the truth in social media.
No, not at all.
Right.
Not at all.
But we'll find out the truth in the court system.
Yeah.
In the legal system, because they'll pull the records and they will be able to go behind the paid wall and get every recording as they're getting ready to get in touch with all of the with the YouTube and Facebook and all of this. And of course, this here takes money, right? But nevertheless, it needs to begin to discover what is the intent, what were these, why was this being recorded? And I can't sit and they tell me what the intent of the recording. I don't know if they would know. I think that they've got to sit in a chair and be sworn in and testify, and then also see if there is a pattern of this and where else has this happened, who has it happened to, what has been the outcome of it. But I know the route that we're getting ready to take it, there's eavesdropping, there's wiretapping. The lawyer wants to know, was kind of taken back that, why was there multiple people recording you, Bishop Jordan? Where's that coming from? You know? So all of that, and that's when they start saying, this sounds like a conspiracy. This is where, now this looks like this. I didn't even know these kind of terms existed until I sat down with an attorney that is a trial attorney, and he handles cases like this of high profile individuals. So this is en route. It is happening. And I was hoping that it wouldn't have to go to this, because now there will be private investigators now that will going out to find all of these individuals, right? Whether they're homeless or whatever, you know, like the attorney says, they got to lay down their head somewhere. But there's got to be some respect. And then, and I know I got to make one or two other phone calls before I make this other move that I'm about to make. And there's some clergy that's been dodging me that owes me some money. And I think sometimes people take your meekness for weakness. So now I'm getting ready to really go after that, because I don't know who people thought Bishop Jordan was. And I think that that's just going to be the next move. And the scripture says that, you know, a good name is better than silver and gold. What does it mean to have silver and gold? And then just let people trample on your name. No, a good name is better than silver and gold. So we're moving forward. We're taking the next steps. And watch this. The recordings are illegal because I did not give consent to be recorded. So the recordings are illegal. I guess we'll have to find out in court if Justin gave consent to be recorded. I think that's going to be one of the questions.
You're right.
Did you give consent to be recorded? Because I know I didn't give consent. So
In other words, did you just do a three-way call, or did you do a three-way call and say it's
Right.
okay to record?
And then if I happen to call you and you were, on the phone with the said individual, then the question is, as a friend, knowing the tension that was already in the relationship, because I hadn't spoken to Larry since October and November of 2024.
Mm-hmm.
And even though with all the stuff that was going on in social media, and when I happened to go to the White House to the faith-based thing, I says, maybe I need to just say something. Let me just say why I went. And from that point on, I was silent for like 6-7 months. But now I'm hearing that he was recording, he according to his statement.
Right.
I sent the audio to my to the attorney.
Mm-hmm.
He said he was recording since March. So at that moment here, what was this fixation on Bishop Jordan?
Yeah.
I mean, it was just, to me, it was like, we don't force people that say they're going to go. I'm not a type of person saying, no, don't go. You can't leave me. Please
Right.
don't leave me. don't leave me. I'm not the pervert. I'm not going to be sitting there saying, no, we're not going to. No, go. We know that you may have been here for a season.
Yeah.
We get it.
And that's okay.
And it is okay.
Yeah.
But it didn't become that. And then I think when it was said that they were going to make my wife cry.
Yeah.
Now you're coming at my family. Like, why would you want to make my wife cry? Why would you want to make my wife cry? Why will, why would you want to make a woman cry? Wait, someone's talking about my sensei here. Colin Harrison, people had the nerve to question this master prophet speaking about Kung Fu. Well, guess what? What did she say?
He said he does, in fact, martial art. You have belts in martial arts. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm a fifth Dan.
Yeah.
And my sense, I mean, the only reason I stopped that because she called my sensei name, Master Ron Duncan.
Oh, okay. That's your sensei.
I have not uttered his name in years. He's gone on to be with the Lord, but he personally came in and trained my family. All my sons are black belts.
Yeah.
And so,
wow.
It was just, it was just sad. And Justin, Pastor Justin Edwards, I don't know what to say. I mean, he sat at our table.
Yeah.
My wife embraced him. I embraced him. When my wife and I, we both agree that when he didn't have a place to stay, we said, stay here at the apartment. We supported him, supported his wife. And when I mean support, I mean be a blessing to them.
Yeah.
I don't want anybody to think that, we're saying he was on welfare or
right.
He asked for this. That's not where that was at. I'm just, we're just giving people. And I mean, a lot of that's going to change now. We're going to call it the Justin effect.
There you go with it.
But but in reality, that was a, we embraced his children.
Yeah.
We let him into we've allowed him into our lives, and we loved him. And my children, some of them grew to love him or grew to respect him.
Right.
You know, like, well, Bishop, because you like Justin, we'll embrace him. Okay, bro, you know.
Are your children tired of doing that or saying that?
Well, right now, they got a new rule around me,
Okay.
which means no one can come to the house or in my life. And they got to do an FBI
Okay.
thing and then sign an NDA. So they're putting all kind of protocols. So I feel now says, I don't, and they're saying, Dad, look at what, look what.
Yeah.
So, you know, I get it, you know, so it's almost like no new people coming around and this is it. So that was something. And, you know, we were glad he was able to get into Virginia Union. He was able to get on a full scholarship. And we got a number of people on full scholarships there at Virginia Union. It's like, you know, we just don't know how you do this with a person.
Yeah.
And then Larry, you know, this was a person that, you know, we poured into his life. And we watched him and his parents come together. We helped bringing that together at his birthday celebration that, you know, we were honored to do. One of his birthday celebrations, we came and I think we kept trying to outdo each other every year. That's what it was. It was like a friend. To me, it was like a friendly banter.
We watched it all.
You know, I went and yeah, okay, I got it. He says, okay, then I'll take that. Then I didn't get you a scholarship. Okay, we got you that. So you're paying for your schooling. We got that. Okay, so but the point of the matter is that we open doors for people.
Yeah.
And we just hope people pay it forward. We don't look for, you know, a knife to get in a person's back like that. So I think that we're just looking at the side, you know, I don't mind people leaving. I don't mind people going on their way. I'm used to that. But what we do mind is that the invasion of privacy is something to be concerned about.
And I think we need to focus. I mean, everybody's talking about, you know, what's on these audit. The facts are the invasion of privacy, the wiretapping, the illegal recording. Those are the facts.
Yeah. And, you know, and the thing is that even if you say, I didn't record, did you give access so recording could happen? Right. Did you give the access? I mean, we could play these games and play these semantics. And that's why that conversation can't be happening out here until you really own it, right?
Exactly.
And
everybody, all the defendants have a chance to own it. They have a chance to speak their piece. They have to answer to the complaint. And I've been watching it, and it looks like somebody's already in default, but they have to speak. That's their chance to speak their piece. So don't skeet skirt, you know, being served. If you believe what you believe, be served and respond. And
you got to do the due process.
Yeah.
And so that's the whole thing. The thing is the recording, malicious intent, and to do harm, you know, to do harm, intent. So if we say to anyone, it's not about content.
Yeah.
Who cares what's on the recording? It's not about content. It's about consent. and I want everybody just to type in the chat room, it is not about content, it's about consent. And that's the part that is just not right. And, like, how would you like it if someone told you they've been recording you for 8 months and you didn't know it? And now
And
you're
the
going to go
thing
back in your
about it,
mind and start thinking about everything
like,
you
what did
said
I
on the phone call.
say? What? Because I know my mouth, Bishop. When I get with some really close friends, I don't have a filter sometimes. I just talk because I am trusting that the conversations are our conversations, not the world's conversations.
Yeah. So it's all of that and more. And then there's other things that we're discovering and finding out. And we're just really we're concerned as to, I've never recorded no one behind their back and used it.
Yeah.
Right. I don't know, I don't know what it is to, well, first of all, I don't have the kind of time to do that.
Right.
I got nothing to do. But
go ahead. Yeah.
I don't have the time, but to think about that, what can I get out of eavesdropping and then going behind a paid wall?
Yeah.
So when we looked at the recording, I think Larry put something up, which we got it to the attorney has it, so it's evidence now. Larry had put up something about he made the call on November 5th, and he had it pointed there on the thing. It says Justin and Bishop. I think that's what it said. And he said he was in Atlanta. And so the team went through all of the phone logs. On the 5th, me and Justin never spoke to each other. And we kept saying, because our last conversation, the last time I spoke to Justin Edwards was on November the 4th at 9:58 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That was the very last conversation. And like the line was disconnected and reconnected and disconnected, so all of that's in the call log. And I kept saying, how does Larry have a November 5th call with me on it, and Justin and I have not talked since November 4th. And when I typed in and did the math, that call was made on the 4th on the East Coast time, but 9 hours ahead, it was made from somewhere probably in the Middle East. Because when it's like right now, if everybody put, what's today? Today is
19th.
March 19th. So if you say today is March 19th, and what time is it?
It is 8:06 for me.
It's 8:06 for you, right?
Right.
It's 10:06 in New York, right?
Well, you're in Chicago.
It is right.
10:06 in New York. Yes, yeah, in New York, yeah.
Oh, no. It's 10:06 in Chicago.
Right.
10:07 in Chicago. It's 11:07 in New York. Can anybody tell me what time it is in Dubai?
Now in Dubai. Well, right now, for me, it is 5 p.m. on the 20th.
Oh, so you have a different date, right?
Based on your current time. Wait a minute. It's 4 a.m. in Dubai right now.
4 a.m. in Dubai, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if it's 4 a.m. in Dubai, right?
Yeah.
So no, it is 7:07 a.m. So here we go.
Okay. Yeah, I'm doing my time, but yeah,
Right.
according to New York, yeah.
So watch this. So it's 8:08 p.m. Los Angeles time, 11:08 New York time,
Right.
10:08 p.m. Chicago time. Dubai is 7:08 a.m. On March 20th.
Right.
So that is where the day difference happened. And so, so it's going to be interesting because this is going to need to come out in the court records. And Dubai, which be contacting the authorities there, has a
they're strict,
stricter than Chicago. So now we're dealing with international look like wiretapping, if that is, to be shared in court. Right. So we'll never get the truth out here, right? No. But we want this to go to where the truth can come forth. And I spoke to your attorney and told the attorney, says, because about coming on your show today, and he says, yes. He says, talk about what's in the filing. He says, this is very serious. He says, it's very serious. He said, this is a federal thing, a federal case. It's civil. And then based on discovery, it may go beyond that.
Yeah. And that's the important part to kind of map out, because a lot of people were saying, it ain't no criminal. And it's not. It's not a criminal thing, but yeah.
Right now it's not.
Yeah.
But in 2027, it might be.
Could be.
So I don't know. I mean, only, when they have all the records, let the court listen to what was being said about what was on the tapes.
Right.
About them using the tapes without the consent. What is the invasion of privacy? This is it. And then to get former members, now the former members situation is so bad because here we have Jimmy, who I still got to be his grace. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
There's just stuff there's stuff I can say, but it will be said in court. Jimmy's family may be watching, and they're this is the part I don't like. I have not seen Jimmy in decades. So, for his voice to come up on Conscious was like shocking. And then to hear Minister Deborah Charm and her husband come up on Conscious, and I'm like saying, you have an earned doctorate degree. You're an educator. I don't know how the school board you work for is going to feel about you being on a program like that. You know, I mean, did you think through that? You know, did you think through that? Because this is going to be brought up in court.
I'm just stuck on how dare you purchase any St. John's clothes.
But see, that's what we did. There was a point in Zoe Ministries that all of the men in the church, we took over Joseph A. Bank, and we took every man to church, and we told them all to get themselves 3 suits.
That is not a cheap place there.
Right. And Joseph A. Bank came and rolled all of those suits out on the stage, and the men had them. They were made for them. They were, they were altered for them. There was no man left out in the church that we did that for. And so for them to imply financial improprieties, or to imply that I didn't pay someone, there would be I can't think of no one that would even imply that.
Right.
But this was a sad part. To celebrate that he actually admitted to a crime.
Yeah.
This is why I can't wait till this go to court.
Yeah.
That he stole the church's keyboard.
Yeah.
He said that. Listen, he said that.
And doubled down on it.
And doubled down. Yeah, I stole the church's keyboard. Well, that's going to have ramification. And so I just don't know. I mean, if you admitted to a crime, I don't know if I want you coming on this other show here, because we don't want to glorify that, because at the same time, you are happy that you stole from Zoe Ministries?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like,
I mean, there's no way in that is okay. I don't care what you think. There's no way that is okay.
Yeah. And that just shows you that we never wanted to see the blogging in the faith-based community go that low. You know, at some point, somebody would say, okay, this is going too far. I'm not about stealing from the church now.
Right. Right.
Like Jimmy, and tell others, says, y'all don't let him on here, because that's not what we're about.
Yeah.
Because now, did you just admit to a crime?
Bishop, growing up in church, I remember finding a quarter in the sanctuary,
Right.
$1 in the sanctuary.
And you put it.
And I found my way to where is the offering plate. They used to keep the buckets just there.
Mm-hmm.
And I found my way, just put it in the bucket. I remember doing it so many times. I was so afraid to steal a quarter, a dime, a penny out of the sanctuary and put it in my pocket. I had that much reverence for the sanctuary, regardless of the pastor, it was what my belief in God was. I couldn't imagine picking up a keyboard and walking out of the door.
Admitting 30 years later or 20 something years later, I don't know how Minister Charman can still be in contact with him, saying, somebody should say, Jimmy, we don't steal from the church.
Yeah.
I mean, just inside talk. You know who Bishop was. Yeah. And then, I don't know what to say. All I can say is that I can't be out here defending myself. Someone wrote, says the equipment is worth more than $2,000. It's a felony. And this is why it says, I think people think it's a joke.
Yeah.
And it hurts. It aches my heart to see that this happen. And then, and because we've now got to pull all these records of all the stuff, we're looking at checks that's been altered.
Now that is wild to me. The checks that I think you said that on Williams, and I couldn't believe it, Bishop. So you're saying you wrote a check, or the church wrote a check to individuals,
We
and when you
wrote, we
got it
wrote,
back
we
as
wrote,
a canceled check,
we wrote a church. We wrote a check to a church,
not a church.
and when we got it back, because we were going through it, because I was going through a situation with the case.
Right.
You got to keep pulling evidence and evidence and evidence.
Right.
We're going back, and I had made a call. I said, let me just make a call to the said church, to one of the trustees, just to get a statement of giving, of what was actually given.
Mhm.
So I could just so when we didn't get that, when I didn't get the call back for that, I said, well, just go through. And so the accountant department went through and started pulling all of the check. And it says, these checks have been altered. Right? And we said, yeah.
A liar will steal.
I says, well, send it on up to the attorney. So, yeah. And listen, I'm glad someone says that, I know? Yeah, I saw the airline tickets, and I want them to keep that. I think we've also sent the airline tickets, the copies of that. Someone sent it to me. We sent it to the attorney. I think that all of that, if that's the alibi, make sure you stick to it. But that phone record is going to be, we all can buy tickets.
Yeah.
But you can't put a time on a phone record and say, oh no, I called on this day, not that day. Wherever that phone was eavesdropping from, it was 9 hours ahead, according to the phone record, according to the evidence. So my prayer is that that there never was a recording taking place from Dubai. That's my prayer.
Yeah.
That's my prayer. But
we hope that's the case.
We hope that's the case, that it wasn't. But if it is, that's where it's going to get interesting. And my prayer is that God will have mercy.
Yeah. Yeah.
That God will have mercy.
How is your family doing through all of this? I know you spoke to it just a little bit, but I know they've taken precautions going forward. But what's the tone of the family? I know the other day you said that you have a lot of meetings. You have a lot of family meetings.
Yeah. A lot of meetings. Yeah. And we had to go through the family meeting. We had to, with the family, we read every line of the lawsuit, together as a family, read it out loud. Each one was reading it, and we had to, really begin to share that. Looking at some areas of, being in counseling, which is very important and very vital. And we're looking at that, we're both in counseling. My wife is in therapy. I'm in therapy. She has her doctor. I have mine. People put out that, we were using members of our church, and that was like, so these are the things, like they're saying that on the social media, right? And then, the lawyer will sit there and probably have to sit there and say, get Bishop Jordan Medicare bill, and let's show him that he has somebody here and his attorney, and not his attorney, his therapist here is Dr. Who, and do you go to Bishop Jordan Church? And so says, no, I'm Jewish. See, this is the sensation that they do to get people behind paid walls.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, but I'm learning a lot. I'm learning a lot about my wife and I both are reading a book on infidelity, right? Because there could be something that we're looking at here. There could be emotional infidelity, right? Infidelity is that it's just some, it's like not being faithful, right? And in this case, like, I thought I had a friend that the call is between me and him.
Right.
Right. But someone else is on the line. That's like, well, that's an invasion. And I don't think we're going to get the seriousness of that until the court can speak to that.
Yeah.
It's unfortunate that we got to go to the court to get the lesson, because out here in the social media streets, it's a joke. And people are sitting there saying, well, what's on the recording? What's on the recording? No, do you realize it's illegal?
Yeah.
No one is saying, no one's typing in the comment, Jimmy, you're wrong. We don't steal from the church, bro. We don't do that in the church. We don't do that. We don't steal it from the Black church. It's like,
what's on the audios?
We've lost our way. And that's what I was hoping that would not happen in social media, not among us. And so,
now, when you talked about the infidelity, and I know you're not speaking of, any sexual, anything like that, but you were saying more of an emotional, you think, is that something you're considering that you were kind of experiencing, Bishop?
Well, yes, because when you start looking at it, right, here we are in a close relationship, right, to the place where we're, a friend that is sticking closer than a brother. Right? But at the same time now, these attacks are coming, at my wife.
Right.
Like, why would you want to hurt her? Like, what does that have to do with it, right? There could be financial infidelity, meaning what? You have your money secretly over here, but you're not telling the spouse that you're saving up over here, and the household is in need over here.
Yeah.
That's infidelity, right? So these are things that, you begin to start dealing with in therapy and stuff as far as relationship. At what point did you find that, there was not this level of transparency? And so all of that is that, we've got to, just take a look at that and just say, we've got to just close all these doors.
And I think there comes a certain time when you're in a marriage, when you're in a relationship for so long, you don't consider certain things that you may do that your spouse or partner may not be okay, because you're just used to being in this relationship for so long. You don't really consider certain things. You think that you were in that state at any given time, or that wouldn't pertain to you, Bishop?
What do you mean?
Like, when you were having, just a close friendship with Justin or whoever else, it's like, were you that close with Pastor Deborah in conversation as well? And you just found, another friend to be that close with also?
No, I think it looks more like this, like, did you have a relationship with someone and then have that person attack your family?
Okay.
That's where I'm looking at the unfaithfulness. Because see, if I bring you into a relationship, like, I'm trusting who you bring into the home. I'm trusting who you bring into our family, right? There's got to be some unfaithfulness on some point, or at some point that we didn't see this coming, right? We are, how did it get to this place? How did it get to the point where someone wanted to create harm or create disruption, And I've apologized to my family for it to get to this point like this.
Right.
Because it just shouldn't be. It's just not deserving. And the betrayal is the betrayal is real. It hurts. You feel it deeply. And at the end of the day, I would have loved to have had conversations with it and then just moved on, but it's just not there. And you can tell that it's just not there. The level of it's got to come from a different place, So
how was Clergy treating you? Clergy friends. I know New York, you're close to a lot, and some others.
Well, my real friends would call me and let me know, says, Bishop. So my real friends, most of them, they don't even discuss it.
Okay.
They says, Bishop, we understand we've all been there. And says, thank you. Right. And then there's others that would say, Bishop, we're standing with you and standing with your family. Yeah. Keep doing what you're doing. Keep, blessing people with the prophetic word of the Lord. We know what you mean in our lives,
Right.
And then there's others that have gone silent and invisible, which is great. And I think that's where I began to learn the difference between peacetime friends and wartime friends.
Yes.
And I think that on your show in the beginning, right, when this was coming out, again, and we were led to believe this, we were told that there was no recording.
Right.
There was no recording. Did you hear recording? No, but there's where, well, if you didn't hear recording, then there's no recording. There's no recording. And then they made a whole blog thing out here and said it was a big train wreck.
Yeah.
And
I came back and apologized. I groveled on my knees and did an apology.
You came back and apologized, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then then after there was recording, when something in the heart says, St. James, I owe you apology, there was a recording, right?
Yeah.
Even if you found out after the fact.
Yeah.
Like I found out after the fact that Justin was in
Illinois or Texas.
Mm-hmm. I came back and I said to the parties, I said, no, he wasn't in Illinois. He was in Texas at that time. I got it. I seen it in the report. Because I was not allowed to really talk to him at that time to query him about all of that and all this stuff. Because I was shocked. And the attorney said, well, you can't have no conversation with him at all. And so after that, found out, people I've talked to, I said, listen, he wasn't in Illinois, but even with him being in
Texas,
if the recording is used for malice, or is used for wrong intent, that is illegal.
Right.
And that's why at that point, it is illegal.
Well, I don't expect to get any apologies. I'll be.
I'm sure I'm sure you're going to get an apology.
Oh.
Because I'm gonna say this. I'm not going to, I'm not going to sit here and spiritualize it, but in the end, you're going to get an apology. And a lot of other people are going to get apologies as well.
Yeah.
Because if you have God deep down within, something in you won't let you keep being angry at someone and pretend, because that is again destroying the reputation on your platform, because people are believing that what you're bringing or saying is.
Oh, they came at me vicious, Bishop. Those comments were horrible.
I know. I was sitting in there watching it.
Yeah, those comments, even after the video, after the video is when really people cut up, Bishop. They're going to cut up after this video.
And then
they were just going in at me.
And then when William played it on the show that day, all I could do is shake my head.
Yeah.
And say, wow, there was a recording. And at that point, I said, I got to get an attorney.
Yeah.
And there says, William said, you're going to have to testify. You're going to have to testify, how you got this, who was at the table, who handled it, who heard it. They're a part of it. And there's a team now that is listening to every blogger's that is talking about it, because there are bloggers that are spreading defamation that is just as much wrong. And so it is what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and then I want to also shout out to some of the bloggers that just left it alone, that said, this is, people that were well-read say, I ain't touching this. This is going somewhere that I don't think that we don't want to go there.
Right.
Right. And we've been watching, we watched some that in the beginning was, making mockery, but their pages went silent.
Yeah. Yeah.
And thank you. Their pages went silent. And we thank God for them. And we thank God for them. We thank God that they respect the process. Others have used it because they got clicks and likes.
Yeah. Yeah.
And right now, this story has, for some reason, created a lot of clicks and likes, because people want to know, well, what's on the recording?
Yeah. Yeah.
What is being said? We're sorry. Is there a video?
Yeah. Does anybody
listen? I probably shouldn't say this. I probably shouldn't say this. I was hearing terminologies for the first time I had never heard before, and I remember they were saying. They said, well, do they have any videos of you? And I said, no.
Oh.
They said, don't have no videos, no nudity or nothing. I said, no. I said, why? They were disappointed.
Yeah.
He says, because if they did, he says, then it could be revenge porn.
Yeah.
I said, what is revenge porn? He said, I said, I'm sitting here now, look at it. He gave me a whole lesson about revenge porn. He says, but you got something here in the case that's revenge porn adjacent, that they don't have videos or pictures, but they're talking about what they think, or even talking about what was on the video.
Yeah.
And I says, well, what does that have to do with it? He says, because his privacy
Mhm.
And that's when the attorney says, do you not know that if you have a relationship with someone, right? A has a relationship with B,
Mhm.
and B says, I'm gonna go out and talk about our relationship. That is illegal.
Mm.
Why? Because A didn't give consent. It's an invasion of privacy.
Yeah.
And I was like, really?
I think this case, Bishop, is really going to put a lot of things in perspective for a lot of people, because we all have our opinions and people have been through cases like this before and they think it's the same thing. Not this case. This is different.
No, yeah.
So you can't compare it to your past case, any past cases.
Well, see, that's the thing that I was like, when it says, he's won every case. So, of course, I'm going to Perplexity, right? I'm going because Perplexity is my news item.
Yeah.
And so I'm typing in, has Larry Reed won every lawsuit, every case? And in Perplexity, I was shocked what it said. And it began to name a very famous preacher that he did not win. Now that's in Perplexity. This is news. Right. And, you begin to look at stuff like that and say, but this case is different.
Yeah.
Because this case is beyond defamation. It's wiretapping, eavesdropping. And that will be found out in discovery. And hopefully the proper authorities begin to take a look at it and address it the way it needs to be addressed.
Bishop, I held you a long time, but before we get out of here, let's talk really briefly about those hidden fractures, beneath the surface that we call fault lines.
Yeah. When we begin to think about fault lines in a relationship, hidden fractures, friends, foes, fault lines. In the book, I love reading books like The Art of War. I love reading The Art of Strategy. I love reading a lot of these. It's, someone called me out. Professor Ron Duncan was my sensei. And I've trained in ninjutsu. And what you're taught is to always move and be stealth. When the scripture says, don't let your right hand know what your left hand is doing.
Right.
In the 48 laws of power, it says you should never let people see power up close. And the reason being is because when they see power up close, they'll begin to envy you.
Yeah.
And then seek to destroy you. And so when you start thinking about it, you should never let people see power up close. And then what is envy? Envy is I hurt at your success. So one of my mentors, Reverend Bishop Wilbert Sterling McKinley, one of my mentors, he was the first one to take me on the road with him. He used to say this, he used to say, Bishop Jordan, he says, people will have a love-hate relationship with you. And I said, love-hate relationship? At the time I was in my 40s in ministry. He said, yes, they'll have a love-hate relationship with you. They have a love-hate relationship with ministry. And I said, why? He says, they'll love you for what you do, but then hate you for doing it so well.
Oh, wow. Wow.
These are the fault lines that take place in relationship. And you'll begin to find that. And I think that a lot of times in mentoring people, you're going to discover it's lonely at the top.
Yeah.
There's a reason eagles fly alone. Eagles don't fly in flocks, right? And there's certain ways of your leadership is that you can't let people see power up close. And when you start to realize it, it begins to just, all I can say is lonely at the top. And then in giving, the more you give to people, the more people want.
Yeah.
Right. And that would be there's a whole nother dynamic. And then I think another thing is that people are not thankful.
Grateful, thankful.
They're not thankful. They're not grateful. And then for you to explain to them, you need to consider being thankful. Thankful.
Yeah.
To say that already lets you know there's a fault line.
Right.
Because people don't have to be nice. So I think this has been a very expensive lesson for me.
Yeah.
It will be this will be an expensive case. But I think most of all, a good name is better than silver and gold.
Right.
We're not going to pay money for extortion.
Right.
We're not going to pay money for hush. I'm just not wired that way. And I just wanted to make sure that communication is gotten. And hopefully no other preacher or clergy will have to go through what I'm going through. I'll just say it like that.
Yeah.
And right now, I believe it's on the way that they're going to start looking for patterns, which means that are there other similar situations or relationships where these type of things may have happened in any of these individuals' lives that have been named? And if it is a pattern, then it is a situation. It's a bigger situation than just this. And that will be discovered. That's in discovery over time.
Wow. Well, Bishop, I tell you, it's always an honor for you to grace the virtual sanctuary of the St. James Show. Even through this lawsuit, there's always nuggets, and we got nuggets and different ways of navigating through our life a little bit better when you come on the show. So I appreciate you coming on tonight.
Well, let me say this. The same gift that attracts people also trigger people.
Yeah.
Right? The same gift that attracts people, and the same gift, the same grace that draws them close can create tension when they start to compare. The Bible says a person that compares themselves is not wise.
Right.
And so, when you're drinking a cup of coffee and somebody else drinking a cup of coffee, you automatically look to see is there more coffee in your plate than in theirs, in their cup than yours. So, you're always sizing up,
Yeah.
And sometimes you got to just know that, hey, I have young men that have been called and that have been called by some of these individuals, implying that we had some kind of relationship going on. And they had to sit there and say, yo, man, we never roll like that. That's just not our MO. What? With Bishop Jordan? And these are people, watch this. These are people we've been out of communication with for a year or a couple of years.
Right.
They come back and say, hey, Bishop, I got a phone call.
Yeah.
What? They go, yeah, man, they weren't applying. And it says, I tell them, said that we ain't roll like that. They were they were like looking, like hoping that was just the MO. That's just hadn't been the MO out there. And then I think they put inside the Christian Post that I was grooming boys. I'm like, grooming boys. So I told the attorney the other day, I says, you saw in the post that it says I'm grooming boys. I says, this is unfounded. He says, well, it's okay. He says, we'll be getting into discovery. And so I don't know anything about the world of grooming boys.
Yeah.
Right. I don't know what that's like. And I've only known Justice just in the last 3 years or so. And he's not a boy. He's nowhere near a boy. He's a grown man. And he's always been respected as such. So where'd that come from?
Yeah.
But maybe that's something that needs to be looked into. And because why is that even in the conversation?
Yeah.
So I think it's going to be very interesting when they start doing the investigations and stuff. And my prayer is that the Lord will have mercy.
Yeah. All right, Bishop. We appreciate you, sir.
We appreciate you too. And thank you for being who you are. And I'm going to tell the people out there, support the St. James Show.
Please do. Thank you, Bishop.
Support the St. James Show.
And these are the ways you can do it, everybody. Do that right now. If it would be so kind, $, ChurchSector for CashApp, Venmo and PayPal, the St. James Show, and also Zelle, the St. James Show at att.net. Prophetess Naomi already sent in her offering, as she put it in there. So I appreciate her.
Yes. Keep that up there so people can really support and be a blessing. This was not a show of a takedown. This was not a show of so your children can watch this and listen to this, and maybe you'll sit there next to your children and says, don't steal from the church like Jimmy.
Absolutely not.
Right?
Right.
And you hear that, and don't be recording people telephone calls and sharing what you heard.
Right.
That is illegal. It is illegal. I don't care how much they make fun of it. It is illegal.
Right.
It is not about content. It's about consent.
That's what it's about. That is what it's about. So we hope that someone got something out of this show tonight. And we know you did. Regardless, we really know that you did. And thank you for those who are supporting the program even now. I appreciate you to no end. Again, Bishop, please get some rest.
I will.
Get some rest, and I appreciate you coming through, and we will talk soon.
All
right. Thank you so much, and thanks for allowing me to absorb some of your wisdom, and I really appreciate that. You and Manasseh have been a true blessing to my life. You really have, and I'm glad that as I'm blessed, I'm able to kind of exude that blessing on out to my community. So I appreciate you, sir.
Well, we thank you. Thank you. And thank you for keeping your show the way you keep it. You have our support.
Thank you, sir.
God bless.
All right, Bishop. All right, everybody. I really hope I hope you enjoyed the conversation. Most of you were respectful in the chat, and if you were not respectful, you got on. You were timed out. You had to go to the children's church for a while, but it's okay. You'll be all right. You can go to the big church tomorrow. All right, just 24 hours. Just sit down for a minute, drink your juice and your crackers, and you'll be back in the big church shortly. Again, I really didn't want to bring up Justin Edwards, who wanted to come up to the platform. I'm not dealing with any defendants on the platform, and I don't think the attorneys want that to happen. So, yes, thank you so much, Prophetess Naomi. Thank you so much, Pamela Haynes and Aubrey Williams and Rebecca Smith. Thank you so much, Professor Thomas. Thank you so much. I appreciate you guys for supporting the platform on tonight. That's just the ones that I see. I'll probably go to Zelle and some other things and see some of your other donations. But I appreciate you hanging out with me tonight. And listen, we're going to follow the case, but this platform is not to litigate anything. It's not to litigate the case. It's not to always talk about it. We will keep you abreast of what's going on in the case, definitely. But what we have to remember, everybody, illegal recordings, all that evasion of privacy and all that, abstain from all of that. Just don't do it. So no one has to ask you why you did it. What was your intent? What were you in a 1 party, a 3 party, a 10 party? Just stay away from that. What Nene said, you can't win. You never win playing dirt. You just don't win. Just everybody do your content. Everybody pastor your churches, empower your people. And unfortunately, sometimes we try to gain some friends and compadres along the way, but sometimes God puts us in a way where we need to be alone and by ourselves and to kind of gather things. And I think this is the season of gathering things in our own personal lives, so we can figure out how to effectively move in this life. Bishop says we have to do church different. We have to do life different. So, listen, let's just try to be better people. Can we do that? Thank you for so many of you who joined in tonight. We've all been enjoying listening to Tasteful. Thank you so much. The problem, they don't have content. And I think that's what it is. I think that, I think we should start interviewing people, start talking to, there's a lot of things going on in the life that we do not have to put out content. I've been hearing people really throw some daggers at some preachers this week. And I'm like, my Lord, I mean, I hate for more lawsuits to be dropping. But as bloggers, as vloggers, content creators, let's steer away from trapping ourselves in lawsuits. Let's just steer away from it. Yes, we need to get out. We need to speak truth to power. We definitely need to do that. But there's a way to do it. I'm not all this, seasoned person. I've just been doing this thing for about 3 years, maybe. Maybe am I going on 4 this year? I think later on this year before. But I think our common sense has to kick in sometime and say, let's not say that. Let's go to something else. But it is what it is. Thank you, Joshua. Thank you. Listen, it's Thursday. I love to have some Patreon on Thursdays. Anybody want to stay up? Any of my Patreons in the chat want to meet me in Patreon? Let me know now, and we'll be there. We'll go to Patreon for a little while and kind of debrief. But let me know. I don't know if anybody wants to go to Patreon. Put it in Patreon if you want to go. Put a comment in there, and if we get enough people that want to chit chat for a little while on Patreon. Chantel said, let's go. Then we will go on Patreon. Hey, if you're not a member of Patreon, make sure you are. It's only $5 a month or $48 for the year. The St. James Show on the Patreon platform. Okay, the St. James Show, and it's in the description of this video. Actually, just click on the link, Patreon link, and shoot over there and join us in Patreon. He said, I'll be okay. Good. So give me, it's 9:00. Give me about 10 minutes or so, 10, 15 minutes. And I'm sacrificing my dinner for y'all Patreon tonight. So thank you so much, Samantha. You also gave your donation tonight. I appreciate you. And I think Candace and Jacqueline gave earlier yesterday. So thank you so much. I didn't get a chance to say thank you since I'm seeing it right here. All right, everybody, the buses are ready. You ready to load them up? Okay, thank you so much. We're getting out of here. Let's see what Bishop McKinstry has to say. You can eat while you. Yeah, I think I will do that. Possibly I'll do that. All right, everybody. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for your for hanging out with me on tonight and for your support of the St. James Show. Not only the St. James Show, but you have to go over there and click on and be a subscriber of the Black Church Sector. If you're not a member or a subscriber of the Black Church Sector, you are missing a whole side of the St. James group, okay? So get over there to the Black Church Sector and sign up for that. We have over 4,000 people over there. We almost have about 26,500 over here. So make sure you go over there and give that a subscribe and a view and a click. All right. Yeah, thank you so much for that super chat. Appreciate you, Chantel. Yes, we are on our way to Patreon. I'm going to hook it up right now, all right? And we'll be over there in a few minutes. All right, everybody, have a good one. But Manasseh, he couldn't come on tonight, but he's over there cruising. He's over there cruising on his Ritz-Carlton cruise on this evening. He said he would pop in if his internet was okay, but it probably wasn't. You know, those cruises. Where Miss Cruiser at? Is Miss Cruiser at the Ritz-Carlton cruise? You know, she'll be there in a minute. She'll probably be there next year. Thank you so much, everybody. Have a wonderful evening.
Haven't you tried him? Hasn't he done enough for you? A says he's Alpha. B, bright and morning star. C, Calvary's hero. D, day spring from on high. E, everlasting light. Yeah. First fruits of them that sleep. E, high and lifted up. H, immortal and invincible. J, joy of my salvation. B, K is the King of Kings. Yeah. M is Messiah. N, he's always near. B, oh, he's omniscient and omnipresent. P, he's the Prince of Peace. Q, he's got quickening power. He's a rock in a weary land. Shelter in a time of storm. True vine. Unchanging love. Victory over death, hell, and the grave. Wash your sin away. His yoke is easy. He's the Zion of my life. But that ain't all. I got to go to Wheel of Fortune and borrow me a vowel. Daddy, can I get an E so I can get an X? His name is excellent. His grace is excessive. His mercy is extravagant. His name is all I trust. Is there anybody who can say I ain't an alphabet, but I can stand on my feet and say his name is Jesus? I feel my granddaddy and his daddy in the ministry. Robert H. Wilson on me. Is there anybody here who knows my Jesus? Is